Good evening, everyone. Phil here, and welcome to the Daily Wrap for what was Friday, the 13th of January 2023. So, of course, if something was going to go wrong on any day, it would be Friday the 13th, and today was no exception. But overall, today was actually quite a great streaming day. I had a great time with all of you. So let's get down to it, shall we? So, today, we started off with the Level 1 podcast, and we didn't have too much in-depth stuff to really do. We had a little bit of gaming news to cover, including some bad news about Ubisoft, but some good news about an upcoming Microsoft press conference, among other things. Then we talked in general, just, back and forth a little bit with Q&A and stuff like that. Nothing too overly important on the Level 1 podcast today, besides kind of talking about the schedule coming up this week now that we know what new playthroughs are coming up, including One Piece, as well as Oblivion, and we have to choose a new survival horror game tomorrow night, which we'll talk about. Anyway. So after the Level 1 podcast, we started off with One Piece Odyssey, which I have purchased and decided to play as a full playthrough here on DSPGaming. Went really well. Now, did we have insanely over-the-top, crazy attendance? No, we did not. I was not expecting that. I would say probably the entire time that I played One Piece, I would expect around 200 to 300 viewers tops. I would be shocked if we maintained more than 300 viewers for any part of that playthrough. It's a niche playthrough for me. It's JRPG. It's One Piece, which is, an established manga anime. But it's a good game. I played it for 3 hours. We got out of Chapter 1 intro segment and get into Chapter 2, which is actually the beginning of the meat of the story. The gameplay elements are fun and sound. The graphics are good. The music is very good. We had some fun unlocks like alternate outfits for the characters. Some lore was discussed between myself and my audience, which was really fun. Support was good. It was. We had people gifting memberships. We had a good amount of tips, hitting the tier 2 tips goal for the day. Overall, went really well for a first stream of One Piece. If this is a sign of things to come for the rest of the playthrough, I feel this playthrough is going to be absolutely outstanding. Of course, you don't know if that's going to be maintained throughout the rest of the playthrough or not, but as for a start, I couldn't complain at all. It was really, really great, okay? Now let's talk about tonight's late stream. This one I will take full responsibility for. I said, why not, as a random late night stream on a Friday night, do Friday Night Fights. Now, if you remember, Friday Night Fights used to be when I would do old school fighting games, including Street Fighter, and then with this Capcom Fighting Collection, there's other games in there, such as the Darkstalkers franchise and Gem Fighter Minimix. So I said, let's do that tonight, right? On a one-off. Just, I've been craving old school Street Fighter. And we go to do it, and everyone's here for it, and it's starting up, and I realized, oh no, I made a grave mistake. So here's the deal. I used to always maintain a PlayStation Plus membership because I always played games online on my PlayStation. The last console generation, this was very much the case. Then, this console generation, I got PlayStation 5 first, so again, I always had a PlayStation Plus membership. Then, I got my Xbox Series X, and now, I tend to split games between the consoles. But for the most part, I usually play games online with the Xbox. Why? Well, number one, because I really like the Xbox controller's feel for multiplayer games. And number two, because I get surround sound on Xbox. So if I'm playing Call of Duty, obviously I want to play it on Xbox so I can get true surround sound and hear the enemy's, placement a lot better. And so, I've been playing absolutely everything on Xbox, and because of that, I haven't really been actively thinking too much about PlayStation Plus or anything like that. So during the summertime of last year, I had the PlayStation Plus Premium service. This is when I got the Platinum tier. We were able to get all of those games in the Platinum tier. We were actually live streaming them via the cloud. I was downloading some of them. We actually had a few days where we played those games. It was really fun, right? But then what happened was, as the hardcore gaming season of the fall hit, I didn't really care about it anymore. I stopped renewing it. I let it lapse. But surprisingly enough, I was still able to play games online. I actually did several different Friday Night Fights streams of old school Street Fighter on a whim during that time period, and they still worked. Now, I don't know if it's Sony made an error, and therefore I was still getting the online connectivity without paying for it, or maybe I actually had some months left over of standard PlayStation Plus, and then when I upgraded to the premium package, maybe there was still some leftover months at the tail end, so when I stopped playing for premium, I still had the online of the regular. I really don't know what it was. But basically, all throughout like the end of 2022, I still had the ability to play online on PlayStation, even though I wasn't paying for it. Okay, I stopped paying for PlayStation Plus Premium like September or October, so it was like 2-3 months I wasn't paying for it, and I was still playing online. Tonight, I go to do it. We boot up the game. Oh, no. It pops up, you got to pay. And I was like, well, how much is it? $10. And here's the thing. With my live audience, we talked about it. I was like, dude, what do I actually play on my PlayStation right now? And what am I going to play online? The answer is very simple. Nothing. I'm not going to be playing anything online on my PlayStation besides maybe old school Street Fighter. Is that worth $10? No, it's not. It would be if the Capcom Fighting Collection had a big chunk of players playing it. If I was guaranteed that if I paid $10 and I went into it, I'd get a robust community, a variety of matches, good connections, everyone playing and having a good time. It's not been my experience. In fact, the last 2 to 3 times I played it, it was like pulling teeth getting matches, or not just playing the same 2 people in a row over and over and over. And a lot of those times in a 2-hour session, I only played for like 45 minutes, and the other hour and 15 was just Q&A with my audience. So that being said, we were all thinking about it, like, you know what? It's not worth it. So I have to call an audible. It's totally my fault. I apologize to my live audience. And instead, we did open Q&A pretty much all night. It was almost 2 hours, like an hour 30, hour 45 minutes, something like that. It went really well. It went by like this. We talked about a wide variety of topics. People were actually very supportive. The attendance was good. The engagement was good. The support was actually good. For a random ass stream like that out of the blue, I was shocked that I got the amount of support that I did. And once again, I managed to avoid answering dumb ass troll questions, because the trolls were here and man, they were trying to get me with like $1 tips asking about private shit. I said, nope, we're not doing that. Instead, it was a very positive and fun and interactive stream with my true fans and viewers, and I managed to avoid most of the trolling pretty successfully. It was a good one. I actually really enjoyed it because I haven't done a Q&A stream like that in a very long time. During the fall, there was a couple streams that went bad that we ended up doing it consistently, but then after that, I haven't done one in months. So actually just doing it with this new setup, by the way, with the new visuals and everything, people really seemed to enjoy it and had a good time. So I'm going to upload that right now. There's no gameplay from tonight's late stream. It's just going to be that Q&A video and this daily wrap, and that is it. All right. So let's talk about tomorrow. Tomorrow's an interesting day. Tomorrow on the Level 1 podcast, I'd like to discuss 2 things. The future of shorts on DSPGaming, as well as the future of those missing playthroughs that we found on the hard drives and how we can tackle them, i.e. how we can upload them without it being intrusive to those who don't care about them. I think we should talk about this at length tomorrow on the podcast. It should be our major discussions, so that way we can maybe get some ideas on what to do. Maybe we can even come to a determination and determine, hey, should I start uploading those playthroughs or not? Let's talk about this tomorrow morning and figure that out, okay? Then, the first stream tomorrow, gameplay-wise, will be Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. Yes, this is the viewer's choice game you voted for. It starts tomorrow. I'm really hoping that you guys are going to buy into this playthrough when it comes to attendance and engagement. I'm going to need your help tremendously. I never played Oblivion before. I tried doing it by myself 10 years ago on PC. It did not work. People told me it was boring and basically to stop playing, so I did. I would love to play Oblivion with all of you as an interactive audience, but I need you to help me. Explain the systems. What's important to know, what's not. What's a good build? How do I work with the people? How do I build rapport so that they'll talk to me? Is there a bribery system? Is there a commerce system? If you remember in Morrowind, if you didn't know that stuff, it was like you could never figure it out. You'd never be able to play the game. And I was happy to have people who were there helping me through the game so that I could learn it and actually understand the systems and have a good time with it. Now, I know Oblivion won't nearly be as outdated as Morrowind, but at the same time, I know there's going to be things that are going to be frustrating that I'm either not going to understand, or they're going to be a little dated and or different from how Skyrim was, and I'm going to need to know the differences and how to succeed. I would absolutely love for this playthrough to be interactive, and what I mean by that is, instead of me, let me look up a guide or something online, I want you guys to be my guide. I want to have a fun journey through Oblivion where we're just interacting and having a good chill time. I don't care. Now, obviously, don't tell me major story spoilers, but I don't care if you explain how the game works and you tell me how to play it, because that's the whole point. Like, I'll be honest with you, no, I'm not looking to do like an amazing first time ever playthrough of Oblivion where it's a cold walkthrough. I actually would prefer not to. I think with a game of this magnitude, to have an interactive situation with my audience where it's all about us having a good time talking and you telling me how the game is really enjoyed best, I think that's what I want out of this playthrough. Okay, so I hope that's what I'll get tomorrow. I hope that you'll show up. If you were someone who voted for Oblivion, you've been waiting to see me play an actual Oblivion playthrough for once because I've never done it before, this is your time. Come by tomorrow, 12:45 p.m. Pacific time. Let's get started with Oblivion and have a good time with it. Okay? Tomorrow night on the late stream, 6:45 p.m. Pacific time, it's the conclusion of Resident Evil 1 Remake. Only got about an hour left in the game. We don't have that much time left, so we're definitely going to wrap it up. And then what I think we should do for the second half of the stream, we should open it up to just interaction and Q&A. How do I determine which survival horror game to play in the next 2 weeks before Dead Space Remake comes out? Because we got some choices to make. Resident Evil 0 or Signalis. I think both of them sound interesting to me. I don't know as much about Signalis as Resident Evil 0. So let's talk about the pros and cons, and let's weigh and balance. Let's figure out what would be the best fit before I play the Dead Space Remake near the end of the month. So we'll do that tomorrow night. All right, so good variety tomorrow. It's going to be a great streaming day. I hope that you guys will join me if you can. Thank you all for a great streaming day today. I had a great time. I hope you did too. I hope you all have a good evening. I'll see you tomorrow for another full, fun, exciting day of streaming goodness here on DSP Gaming. Peace out, everyone. Good night.